All right, everyone, welcome back to the next episode on SAP Fiori Security cum Fiori Elements Training. In our last episode, we talked about how to deploy your Fiori application and create the tile in the Fiori Launchpad. We have learned about the steps of configuring a custom Fiori app, availability of that Fiori application through the Launchpad as a Fiori security consultant. We've learned about every artifact involved in the process of making that app available as a tile, which includes catalog, which includes creating a group, understanding the target mapping, understanding the semantic object and action, which is so-called intent, creating a role, and eventually making the role, generating the profile and granting it to the user to access the tile. But at the end of the training, I have also some of the topics which I missed due to the end of the time. So I have put them also as open question. Before, we learned some tricks. If an app is not visible on the front page in the group, or basically as directly the tiles are not visible, the possible reason that group role is not assigned. The group is not part of the role. So you can still find that app in the app finder. Second thing we learned about, if you mismatch the target mapping, the tile will also not be visible to the user. Of course, there are tools to detect those anomalies. We will discuss about them later in our troubleshooting chapter. Then there are four open questions which we will start first today. First question is, how can you recap quickly about the Launchpad content structure? There are too many things and it is getting so much confusing for me as a developer, as a security administrator, what comes when and how these things are interrelated. So we will do a recap. Then there was a question about how to access OData service, which was part of the table, part of our app. So we have a product app that was using a service. We just granted the access for the catalog and the group through the role. But where is that we granted the access of OData? Yes, we didn't. Still it worked. How? We will see that. How do you transport the role to quality system? We created a transport request. We put our catalog and group inside the transport, but we forgot to add roles inside the transport. We will see how to do that. How to activate standard apps, and what is the process of activating the standard app related services, how do you troubleshoot them, and then what is Fiori rapid deployment. We will discuss about these topics in today's session. So let's start with first a quick recap of the Launchpad content which saw in by far. We learned about Launchpad content like catalog groups and stuff, how these things are interrelated. So let me start from user perspective, our end user or Launchpad administrator user. Accordingly, what happens? So you can see here, this is our end user, this is our business user, and this is us. We are the Fiori security expert. So this is Fiori security expert, and this is me. Yes, you, me, whatever. And this is our business user who is going to use the app. This is Alex, correct? Alex. Wow. Okay. So what we did as a Launchpad administrator or a Fiori security administrator, we created multiple content. What we created? First, we create a role. Yes. So a Fiori security administrator creates a role. What a role contains? A role contains catalog. Yes. So one role can contain multiple catalogs actually. Then we have the group. Yes. And we created multiple groups also. So one role can have multiple groups and multiple catalogs. This is what we create as a security administrator in the last classes. Now, if you look at a catalog consists of tiles. Can anybody tell me how many tiles a catalog can have? Quickly, faster, faster. Come on.
Your number.
Multiple. Very good answer. So you can have multiple tiles inside a catalog. So if I just say a catalog can contain multiple tiles, very nice. So that's how it is. It looks, yes. So a catalog contains multiple tiles. Now each tile can have how many target mappings? Anyone?
Oh, each tile one target mapping.
One target mapping. Very good. So one tile can have exactly one target mapping. It will point to using the intent. They are connected via intent. So this is how we will have target mapping eventually. Yes. And then this target mapping will have intents. Of course, it contains intents. So target mapping contains intents. That's what it contains, intents. And then you will see this is how our content is structured. So a catalog can also contain as multiple target mappings, and it points to the tile. So basically catalog directly have target mappings. Yes, a catalog directly has target mappings. Catalog has tiles and catalog also has target mapping. A tile points to a target mapping also through the intent they are connected. This is all what you see here. This whole drama, this whole stuff. What do you call this whole stuff? Anybody? This whole stuff, what you see here, what do you call this? No one? What do you call this whole thing?
Content.
Exactly, very good answer. This is what is our content. Together, all of this we call content or launchpad content. Everybody, are you clear? What is Fiori launchpad content? Didn't we create all of this? Yes, all of this we created yesterday, step by step. Now, under the groups, what you will have tiles. Where will these tiles come from? Inside the group. These tiles will come inside the group from the catalog. So eventually you will also have tiles coming inside the group from the catalogs. Eventually they are part of group catalog, and from the catalog you will create the reference into the groups. Yes, and you also create this, and then finally the user, the end user. So this is all our content which we create. Some content we create inside the launchpad designer, some content we create in pfcg. So except the role, everything was in the launchpad designer. So this was created in pfcgt code, and rest all content, this whole content was created in the Fiori launchpad designer. This is where we create all this content. Yes, this is where you as a security administrator will create all the content and you model the content. Fantastic. Wow. Now, a Fiori app tile points to a target mapping points to a application. So one target mapping precisely points to one application. This application could be a GUI application, Fiori application. Yes. So you can have so many applications, and one target mapping points to application. Yes, and this application, okay, let me delete this. So this application will point to, if it's a Fiori app, then it will point to OData service also. So you will have a OData service. If it's Fiori app, actually, we'll have the OData service you will be pointing to. So typically we will have OData service, which your Fiori app is also pointing to. So they uses OData service. Wow. So next, what we have is, we will have finally the launch pad on the other side of the story, where user will not understand all these things what you just did on the right side. This is all what we do as security consultant, but this, the left side part is simple. It's the Fiori launchpad which user will use. So this is Fiori launchpad. The T code is slash /FLP. That is Fiori launchpad. Okay. Now, so we have Fiori Launchpad, and the Fiori Launchpad then have a lot of tiles which are visible. Now, can anybody tell me how these tiles will be how they will be visually looking? How are they visually decided? How they are keep together? What keeps these tiles together? No
It's a
one?
group.
Exactly. So you will have the group titles, which is what visible here. So you will have group titles, which is what you will see here. So when you create the group, you will have the group titles visible here. So eventually the group makes a very important role here. Now how user will see these group titles is because this role what you create is what you assign to this business user, right? So eventually you will assign this role. If I take it all the way up, just change this a little bit flow. Yeah, good. Let me make it little bolder. Yeah, so I just have this. Yeah. So we assign this role eventually to this user, LX or the business user, and then this role contains groups and catalog, and of course they contain tile, and accordingly these tiles will be visible to our user. Okay, so your launchpad shows all the tiles according to what content you've defined and designed, and it will be visible. Now, as a developer, so there's third person who's the developer. Sometimes you can act, those who have taken my UI5 training, you can act like multi-purpose. Yes, you can be green one and yellow one both, because you are eventually developing the application. And to develop application, you are using tools like WebIDE or BAS, and you do SEGW or CDS to build services, and then you're building the apps. Correct? Is this persona clear, everybody? Who does what at object level? Is this clear to everyone? What we did by far for a custom apps. Okay, now let's talk about the relationship between these things. So one role can contain how many catalogs? Who will answer? One role can contain how many catalogs?
Multiple.
Well, very good answer. So if it is one, it can have multiple catalogs. One user can be assigned how many roles? One business user can be assigned how many roles? Multiple.
Multiple roles.
I can
Yeah.
assign you multiple roles, right? Multiple permissions. Very good answer. It's 1:*. Okay, good. One role can contain how many groups?
Multiple.
Multiple.
Multiple groups.
Very good. You guys are
Multiple.
awesome. Perfect. So this is star also. One catalog can contain how many tiles?
Multiple
Same
tiles.
multiple.
Many.
Multiple tiles. Very good. So one catalog can have multiple tiles. One catalog can contain how many target mappings?
Mm,
Multiple. Again,
Multiple. Yeah,
right?
right.
Because you have multiple tiles and each tile will have, so one tile will have how many target mapping? Anyone?
One.
One
One.
to one, exactly. So between tile and target mapping, it is 1:1. Yes. If you look at from target mapping side, it is n to one, because one target mapping can be used by multiple tiles also. But we are looking from top-down approach. Okay, this looks good. So how many tiles a group can contain? How many tiles a
Multiple.
group can contain?
Multiple.
Multiple.
Very good. So if you say one group can contain multiple tiles also, because you can drag drop multiple tiles from different catalogs inside a group to group them. Okay, one target mapping points to how many applications?
Single application.
1 to 1.
One.
Exactly, 1:1. You forgot it. Some of
Okay.
you forgot it. Do you remember yesterday we gave a SICF URL inside the target mapping to connect our Fiori app? Either we can connect it to transaction code VA01, or we can connect it to SICF service or for your Fiori app slash UI2 UI2 underscore UI2, whatever the name was there. So it's 1:1. One Fiori application can point to how many OData service?
One.
It can also be multiple.
Multiple.
Multiple. But
Multiple.
guideline from SAP is it should be 1:1. Guys, remember, whenever you're building Fiori apps as a developer, the SAP guideline says that you should have one application pointing to only one service. But actually, it is possible to do this 1:*, but guideline is 1:1. Okay, but let me put it what is currently possible in the system. Cool. So now you understand one developer can build how many application? You are a
Multiple
developer. How
applications.
many
Yeah.
application you can build? Multiple, na? Who stops you?
Yeah.
I am a developer. I built 200 application in last 10 years. Yes, multiple. Fantastic. One security consultant can build how many roles?
Multiple
multiple,
roles.
Multiple roles. I am a security guy. I build multiple roles. Yes. One user can be assigned multiple roles. One user can access how many launch pads?
One launch pad.
One
only
launch
one,
pad. There is only one launch pad in the system. You can't have multiple launch pads. Okay. So one user can access one launch pad. Basically, multiple users can access one launch pad. N is to 1, we can put it, or star is to 1. Yes. So all the users eventually access same launch pad. So one launch pad can contain how many tiles?
Multiple tiles.
Multiple.
multiple,
Multiple groups and multiple tiles. Is this relationship clear to everybody? Anyone has any question or doubt on this? Does that clarify everything in one single picture? I love this picture so much. You know, I've taken a printout of this and I put it on my desk. The day I learned Fiori security, I took a printout of this and I put it on my desk. I never forget it. If you are clear with this slide, this diagram, trust me, you are unstoppable. Even God cannot stop you to become Fiori security consultant. If you understood this, entire Fiori security simplified for you. If you understood this slide, what we are here. Of course, there is a little more extra things will come in future like spaces and pages. Yes, we will add them later. But eventually the broad concept of Fiori security is this much. This is what is happening around us. Wow. Now, let's move to the second question. So I hope a recap was helpful for everybody to understand how we structured our content. Guys, the way we structure our custom content by far, ditto same SAP is also doing inside SAP Labs. SAP Labs also following same thing what we did in last 2 days, in last 2 classes. The way we deploy, the way we create content, the way we give access, everything is same. This is what SAP also does. So when you look at SAP standard content, it will also follow a very same relationship between the content. We will understand that soon. How to access OData service given to our app. How did it got the access? So let me open the role which we built yesterday. We did not explicitly grant the OData access to the user when we built the role PFCG, and we built the role yesterday. Go inside this role, and in this role when you go to menu, we granted the catalog access. This is our catalog. If you double click, you see the catalog name. See, now guys, see here inside, do you see GW sample basic? Isn't this the service we use to build our Fiori app? Wow. So guys, what's happening behind the scene? Whenever you are actually creating a catalog, in the catalog you are maintaining target mapping. In the target mapping you are giving the link of your Fiori app. System is very smart. It will go and check that Fiori app. It will check the manifest of that Fiori app. It extract the service name from the manifest, and it will add automatically the permission for that OData service for you in the role. That's why the moment you click the tile, the Fiori app calls the OData service, and that service access was also granted to you automatically. Is this clear, everybody? How the OData service used by Fiori app is accessed by you when you are granted a catalog access. So this is a very important interview question. Interviewer पूछेगा आपसे, do I need to grant OData service access separately? Do I need to grant OData service access separately for a Fiori application once I give catalog access? Answer is no. The moment you grant catalog access to a user, catalog access of set of Fiori apps to a user, all the OData services used by the Fiori apps inside that catalog will automatically be granted as permission to the user through the role. You can expand the catalog and see the OData service used by that catalog. Similarly, if you just open a standard SAP role like SAP underscore BR internal sales representative, which we opened long back, this is SAP delivered role. It contains a lot of catalogs. This is SAP standard now. So if I open this catalog, you see lots of services. सारा service का access उसको मिल जाएगा. जैसे ही कैटलॉग का एक्सेस दिया, सारा सर्विस का एक्सेस फोकट में मिल गया उसको. आपको चिंता करने का जरूरत नहीं है. यू डोंट हैव टू टेक लोड, यू डोंट हैव टू वरी what OData service I need to grant access to the user explicitly. If I'm granting certain app access, it will be granted through the catalog automatically. All the services are grouped inside the catalog. System will check the catalog, all the associated target mappings. From the target mappings, it gets the apps. From the apps, it will get the services from the manifest, and it will automatically package everything inside the catalog and grant the access naturally. IWSG and IWSV, both access will be granted naturally the moment you grant a catalog access. So it's a full package. Okay, very important, very important. And you see, notice. If you notice, you also see yesterday we added in our catalog a GUI transaction. Do you remember what was the GUI transaction I added? Anybody? No one?
EA01.
VA01. So you see, this VA01 access was also granted automatically in this role through the catalog. That's what also it takes care of naturally. So any GUI app, WebDing Pro app, Fiori app, you add all the required access, complete package, complete set of access which is required, including OData service, will be granted through the catalog directly to the user. You can just expand the catalog and see this. This is an interview question, very important question. I ask usually this when you have a Fiori app. I have a tile, I have a target mapping. I added the catalog to the role to the user. How will the user get the OData access? The answer of this is the catalog naturally reads all the target mapping and the associated OData services and package those access with the catalog into the role naturally. Yes, that is what system does. Okay. If a OData service is using just there's a question in the chat window. If the OData service is using a BAPI which require authorization, then will it detect in at the console? Answer is no. OData service is only the OData related errors you can check in the gateway log or in the console. BAPI errors will, or if the BAPI is dumping or BAPI related authorization, you can check in SU53. If there is a very specific authorization, accordingly, you have to check in SU53. Okay. Only the OData related errors you can see it in the browser. You can't see BAPI related errors in the browser. No, you will not be. Okay. Will it read? Will it read by using manifest JSON? Yes. Everything is read from the manifest JSON by the system. That is what system will take care of. I hope everybody is clear. Now your question. Any question you have?
Yeah, Anubhav, so when we are having this access given for the OData services, so do we need to provide an authorization? Let's say that I want this Fiori app to have only a display access for a specific set of user. Then in that case, do we have to control the authorization of the OData services for a display only access, or it will be star every time?
No, it will be display access that you can control granularity inside the profile. So when you go to profile, yes, the individual authorization objects you will have, let's say HR, finance, SD. So if you go inside, you can here see different access. You see the different access for sales order, sales document type access activity. And if you can go inside what you want to allow. So I can uncheck everything and I say, I only allow display of sales order.
This will be same for the OData service as well, right?
For OData, we can't. Because see, the moment you restrict on the UI, he will not even see the create button. तो वो create कैसे करेगा?
Okay, but one of our requirement was that to the BSA should have display all access on the production, and the business user should have all the access. So in
For
that
that,
case, how
what you
we
can
should
do,
enable a display on the
I got
access?
your point. I got your point. For that, you have to do custom coding within OData actually. So when you build the OData service, what you have to do, like ABAP, normal ABAP security concept. So there is a OData, and this OData is implemented by DPC extension class. In this, you will have all the crude methods like get entity set and let's say create entity set. Yes, in the get entity set, you will use a custom authorization object. There is a command in ABAP called authority check. Yes, you can do that. You can use the authorization object, custom object, Z read only access, something like this activity. If this is permitted, then only you will have a read access or create access accordingly.
Okay, so it has to be handled at a code level. We cannot
Yeah, code
have
level.
display or
Exactly.
any OData access. Okay, got it.
Yes. So that is why we build OData services like that. What about local web ID user also should have access to the role? No. Local web ID, why should it have a role access? Because you are just developing and testing it in the tool itself. You didn't even deploy the app yet. It's still in the web IDE. Why do you need the access during that time? You don't need an access during that time. Yes. Of course, OData access you need it because you are connecting to a live system that has a OData service. That OData access you anyway need it. But for that, there is a separate developer role. The developer role is called s underscore develop authorization object. That is granted to you. S underscore RFC is granted to you. S underscore service is granted to you. So through which you will anyway as a developer can access everything in the system, all the services, all the T codes, all the RFCs, all the development authorization you can anyway access. So for developer, there is a separate role what people create, right? And that developer role you will grant it to a developer. Why do you need this business level access for the OData for a developer? Developer is a developer for which you have a developer role, and that is what security people will develop and give it to you, right? So for that, you should not be controlled with the normal business user role. We are talking about business user role. We built a business user role. This was granted to business user Alex. This was not to a developer. For developer, there is a separate role called developer role. I think I already have a developer role. I can show you how it is built. So Z, or I can say start developer. This has so many powerful permissions. Developer is the god. He can do a lot of stuff. You see, there are a lot of developer roles here. So perhaps there's already one developer role in the system which you can grant so that the developer will naturally going to get all the access. Okay. So I'm not sure which is the correct one, but usually we can build a separate developer role and grant it to all the developers in your company. They will have access to all the services by default using authorization object. Okay. We should not be controlled by business user authorization. We are talking about business user security here, not the developer security. Okay. Now coming back, so that was the second question. How does the OData service is granted for the user? Third, how do we transport the role? So we created the role, we logged everything in the transport, our catalog, our group in the Launchpad Designer. But how do you transport this role to the quality system? It's super simple. You see a truck button. Yes, wow, that's super simple. I click on it, and this role now I can transport. I can lock it into a transport request execute. I can choose my transport request. Yes, it should be a customizing request. Yes, and I can say okay. And you see it's green. It's logged in a transport request. You release this transport request, it'll reach to the corresponding client into the system, and accordingly this role will be available to the users into the system. So you can have country specific roles also. Usually we model that depending on if my company is using my ERP software across multiple countries, I can have country specific roles as well. So very important three questions. Now, how do we activate standard apps? Do we need to activate every service manually? Now think about it. Think about it. Now you understood how the OData is granted, how the catalog is granted. Let's take a simple example. Let's say there is a SAP role. Let's imagine for a moment. SAP delivers so many standard roles to you, right? That's what SAP is delivering to you. And when SAP delivers so many standard roles to you, you will be able to grant directly these roles to the user, and user will get tile access. That's okay. That's not a problem. That's not a big deal. I understood that part. So user will see all the tiles like we saw in our last exercise. I granted SAP BR sales rep and all the tiles LX was able to see. But the problem is you will have so many OData services which are part of these standard roles. Let me show you once again. So if I show a SAP standard role, just take an example of sales rep only. It's easy to understand. You just saw that there are so many services. Yes, in a new system, in a fresh system, perhaps I've granted this role access to my user. But if you look at here, there are so many services. Yes, so many of them it requires. Now, can anybody confirm and tell me, can you guarantee in a new system, if I simply grant this to a user, will all the apps work fine or not? Anyone? Will all the apps work fine? Yes or no? No. Why? Because you have services which requires activation, correct? You need to activate all these services. Only then user can truly access these apps, because apps depend on service. Eventually a Fiori app running in browser need a service to consume the data from ERP system. So though I can use SAP delivered role easily, I can grant these role easily to my business user. Still, user will not be able to access Fiori apps eventually, though they can see the tile. But the moment they click on the tile, it will give them error. It will give them error like this service is not active. Yeah. So I'll take a simple example. Let me just take this service. I know this service is very important one. This is used by sales order application. So I'll deactivate this service for a moment. So I go to SIWFND main service. I'll launch this service. So in a new system, these services will not be active by default. Okay, related to your business, related to your role, these services won't be active. Yeah. So right now it's active. Let me now create LX quickly, LX role, and grant the sales rep to the LX. So I will go back. Just give me a moment. I'm launching SU01 to create my user LX once again to showcase you how things works. So now I'm going to create a user LX once again. Create. Yes. And I will just grant the role to this Alex Matthew. So we will grant this Z role, which we created that day, Z star UI2 700 role we've created. That UI2 700 role I'm going to grant. That gives the basic launchpad access to Alex first. So Z user 700 role, I think that was the role for user we created. I click OK. And next I will grant the SAP standard role for sales order app. So let me go to Fiori preference library and I will say, hey, which role is required to grant access to sales order? Yes. So let's open that. I go to Fiori apps, all Fiori apps, I'll search for sales order, manage sales order. And if I just open this app, go to implementation information, it's there in S4HANA, correct? It's taking few seconds to load the information. It's an S4HANA app and I'm in S4HANA 2020 server. So I will keep this 2020, but if you guys are on different server, different version of S4HANA, please choose accordingly. Otherwise you will get confused. Okay, next comes to configuration. And if you notice, this is the OData service required to run this manage Fiori, manage sales order. So if I just search that service, is it already active? Yes, it's already active, you can see, which means now if I grant this role, if you come down, you see this is the role, SAP BR internal sales rep. That role, once it's granted to the user, they will see this style called manage sales order app. And this style can be accessed directly via this target mapping, semantic object and action. So let me show you that. I'll switch over back to LX and I will grant the role given by SAP. This is the role. I will grant this role here, enter, and now granted this to my user LX. Let me just give a default password. Yes, and now let me log in with LX on Launchpad. So guys, use incognito window. It's very powerful because it will not take your cookie, it will not take your SSO, it will always force you to log in. So when you are working as a security consultant, this is super important to use incognito window. Okay, so that you can log in with a different business user and access things. Click on this and I come here and just put my launchpad URL and I will log in as LX. I'll change my password. Continue. And now I will see the launchpad plus additionally those apps. So if it is taking too much time, I'll show you a trick. You can directly jump to the sales order app actually. How? You know the target, you know the secrets, you know the target mapping, yeah? Sales order dash manage. So I can go back. If it is taking too much time, no problem. You can just go back on the top after hashtag sales order dash manage. Wow. See guys, the trick. Enter. It will navigate you to the sales order manage application. Now you can press F12 and see what the sales order manage app application is using behind the scene. You can see the network call. Which service is this sales order application is calling? You will get to know all of that. Yes, if you click go button, you can see the dollar batch request and you can see it's calling exactly same service STF1873 SOWL SRV. This is the same service which you just saw into the documentation here. You see F1873 SOWL SRV. Yes, and the same service you can see it's also active SOF1873 SOWL SRV. If I deactivate this service, usually what will happen in a new system, this service will be deactivated. This service will not be active. Okay, in a new system, it won't be registered, it won't be active. It will be like this. Now, if you go back and test this app, refresh this app, it will fail. It will not load. It will give you error. Okay, so I've deactivated it manually. This is what is used. The service is used to build this Fiori app, to use this Fiori app, and now this Fiori app will dump. This Fiori app will tell you, hey, I can't launch because everything fails, because all the call to the service fails and it shows you infinite loading. Sometimes it don't even load. You will see weird errors actually. The Fiori app will eventually not load because the service is not active. Now think about it. A one standard role can have so many Fiori apps, and these so many Fiori apps, as you know, each Fiori app can point to one service. Yes, each app points to one service. So there are so many OData service. So if you want to use just the SAP delivered role, which is SAP BR internal sales rep, and just simply grant this role to our business user, can our business user still access all the Fiori apps successfully without activating all the services, all these services, what you see here? Anyone? What do you think? Will our business user be able to access, will LX be able to access all the Fiori apps successfully if those services, underlying services are not active? Of course not. It will give error.
No.
So the tile will be visible. Okay. You see, now it's dumping. The tile will be visible. So you will still see the tile. If you go to the launchpad, to the home screen of the launchpad, you will still see the tile. Tile दिखेगा आपको, sales order का tile दिखेगा, because you've granted the role. The role grant brings the catalog grant. The catalog grant brings the grant for all the things, but eventually you will not be able to see. And that's why you see many apps are throwing error. You see, last time I showed you that, I told you that there are errors. You see this error? Why is this error? Why this error? Why is this error? Why there's no data? Why there is an error here? Why this error? Because these services are not active for the corresponding app, for the corresponding tile. There is underlying service. So आपने रोल तो दे दिया उसको, टाइल तो दे दिया, लेकिन उसके नीचे का सर्विस नहीं दिया. Yes, you can press F12 and check all the service which are failing. You will find huge list of services which are failing. Now, can you imagine if you go to each app, each service, and activate each service one by one, how much effort it will be? Think about it. Anyone? If I have 500 apps, out of which 400 services are not active for those apps, how much effort it will be to find one by one each service in the Fiori preference library and activate each service one by one? How much is the effort? What do you think? Anybody? Anyone? How much is the effort to activate 400, 500 services? You never know. You don't know, right? How many services you need to activate like this? How much is the effort to activate all those services to make those apps work? No one? No one wants to guess? What will be the total effort? Huge effort, isn't it? Huge effort. Yes, a lot of these services are failing, you see. A lot of them are failing. They're not working properly. And that's why your tiles are not loading. So though the tile is visible, user can't access the tile. User can't load the tile. There's a configuration issue. There is some service issue. The service is not active. So you can't use this directly. As you see, service task processing failed. This service is very important. It failed. It's not active. Or you don't have authorization for the service, let's say. You see no authorization for the service. So you will have authorization issue somewhere. Somewhere you'll have service not active. So though you can go to Fiori preference library, you can find out what role can be granted to give the access of this Fiori app. But eventually, even in spite of giving the role which is given by SAP, we will not be allowed, or user is not allowed successfully to implement Fiori, successfully use the Fiori. Is this problem statement clear to everybody? The problem which you will face while implementing Fiori as a security developer? Yes. So SAP delivers so many roles. You will be able to grant these roles directly to the user, and the user will get the tile access. But you will have so many OData services which are part of these standard roles. Since in a new system, the access to the tile can be granted, but eventually, until the services are not activated, user will not be able to meet the goal. That's a first problem statement. Second, activating these services related to each app, basically inside the role, is a big effort for us. If we start activating individually, yes, we need to trace, we need to find, we need to activate. बहुत time लग जाएगा आपको. Yes. Also, Fiori is designed to work seamlessly. Just activating one or just one or couple of service won't help you, right? It won't help you because Fiori is designed to work seamlessly. You will have a lot of cross app navigation. एक ऐप से दूसरे पे जंप किया, दूसरे से तीसरे पे, from one app to another app, you jumping between apps. So there are a lot of cross app navigation. Yes, and these cross app navigations will not work if your, let's say, one service is working, one app is working, but that app navigates to another app, that service is not working. So you will eventually end up implementing or spending high effort in implementing Fiori. Okay. Third, fourth, testing effort is very high. If you ask business users to confirm for every app if they able to access or not, it's very high. The initial effort of even setting up Fiori is also very high, with lots of manual steps. You saw when we started this training, I taught you go here, activate gateway, go here, create system alias, go here, create local system alias, go here, create RFC, go here, create, activate this SRV service, this page builder, page builder purse, page builder conf, page builder cust, transport, interop. I told you a lot of steps. Create a role for launchpad, create a load for role for business user. There were so many manual of steps involved to set up the Fiori, right? And in spite of that, things may not work at times, right? There are a lot of these issues which are the pain points implementing Fiori. So eventually, the Fiori implementation takes very high effort in your company, right? What's the solution? What's the solution to speed up this implementation of not just Fiori in general, but also Fiori apps related to your company? Okay. The solution for this is called Fiori Rapid Deployment. So now next topic we will learn about Fiori Rapid Deployment, which solves these challenges what I've listed down. These are just few challenges, but there are more challenges which comes if you implement Fiori apps individually, independently. It is going to be a huge effort overall. Your company will suffer losses, heavy losses in terms of time and money implementing Fiori. It is not the recommended way of implementing Fiori. So in our next section, we will learn about uh, S4HANA, what is the guideline, what SAP recommends, and how to use Fiori rapid deployment to to activate Fiori gateway and Fiori apps for the business user. And then once it is done, experience and adapt the content. Okay, so you need to also understand the content structure of Fiori apps, which is delivered by SAP. So at least you understand some part of the content structure, but SAP has some more tricks and tips inside which we need to understand. But before that, let me make some of the statements directly coming out of SAP very clear to all of you, which is very, very important for you to understand actually. Okay, let me make some of the statements. These statements I've taken from SAP TechEd. SAP TechEd 2020 was a big hit. It was online, it was free, and I, as a technical enthusiast of SAP, as an advocate, I've gone through and attended many TechEd sessions, and some of the screenshots I've taken from there to bring this knowledge to all of you. So, guys, my learning sources are multiple. I collect all the best practices from different blogs, material, books, study material, YouTube channels, from SAP guides, SAP best practices. I also in touch with a lot of consultants who give me a lot of knowledge and combine all these information together in a single course for you to package all the information in one place. It is doesn't mean you can't learn. You can learn a lot of things from internet, but information is super scattered across the internet, and it is very hard to combine this information in the right flow. And that is what Anubhav Trainings does for you. It saves you time, cost of time, and brings you all the knowledge, best in class, best practices at one single spot in my trainings. That's what we do, guys, and that is what is here with the Nubo trainings in the right flow so you can understand everything right. Okay, so let's understand some couple of statements and we will wrap up. So this deployment, Fiori rapid deployment, we'll discuss tomorrow, but I will just make some bold statements here about S4HANA best practices so that you can digest these information before the next class. So let me go ahead and explain that. So first statement, S4 HANA Fiori implementation, the statement from SAP directly coming out of SAP Labs. SAP Fiori is the go-to interface for S4 HANA. First statement, which means customers who don't implement Fiori or continue to use SAP GUI as their primary UI will have only a limited benefit from innovations in S4 HANA. Means if your company is still using GUI transaction VA01, BP and all, trust me, you lost the purpose of S4 HANA. You lost your company have lost the investment what they did in S4 HANA, they lost it already because you will not take advantage of S4 HANA if your company don't implement Fiori. So Fiori implementation is must for every company to fully leverage this HANA S4 HANA appliance. Next, selectively implementing Fiori apps. Let's say two apps out of 500 apps, out of let's say 20 apps related to sales representative, only two apps I have implemented. I have activated services related to two apps, three apps. That's all. And then I've given it. Yes. So the problem is selectively implementing the benefits. Only some individual Fiori apps not only breaks the user experience, but it also result in very high implementation cost. Wow, what a bold statement, guys. So if your company, if your manager is asking you to implement two Fiori apps, three Fiori apps, trust me, it will lead you to a completely wrong direction, heavy implementation cost, and it will break the user experience because Fiori apps are not designed to work individually. I told you already, Fiori app has cross app navigation. One app will point to another, that you can drill down to another, then you drill down to another, and there is lot of seamless integration between the multiple apps. I will take an example in next class to make you understand. So please understand, Fiori implementation is a very important piece of information. That's why lots of companies, I see lot of openings on internet these days on Fiori implementation. Do you know Fiori implementation? Do you learn, do you know how to implement Fiori? Do you know how to, what are the best practices to implement Fiori, how to activate standard apps? And that's why we all here in this training, because you want to learn how to activate standard apps. Not just activate, but what is the best practice, what is the guideline given by SAP, how should you do it? Because if you do it in a wrong way, trust me, it is going to be very costly for your company. So these are some of the important statements. There are some more. We will understand the meaning of these statements in the next class from slide 62. These slides are taken from SAP TechEd. Okay, so if you have already attended some TechEd sessions, you will find it duplicate, but I'll try to explain it in my style so that you'll understand it much better. So in the next class, we'll start and understand why SAP says that you will lead to high implementation cost if you implement selective Fiori apps, why it breaks, and what is the best practice, and how do you use rapid Fiori deployment to activate your Fiori apps. What is rapid Fiori app deployment, how it works, and then we will talk about how to adjust your content after you implement. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Time for your questions. You have got 5 minutes.
So Anubhav,
Yes.
yeah, Anubhav, this rapid deployment has been proposed by Fury SAP recently,
Yes.
and one of the blogs that it's only for the embedded deployment. It's not.
No. Incorrect
Have
understanding.
they provided it?
Incorrect
Okay.
understanding. I will prove it right tomorrow. Incorrect understanding.
Okay. Okay. So it is. Okay.
It works for both.
Okay. Got it.
I'll let me note down your question.
Then.
So
Okay.
it is assumed, this is your assumption, I would say, that the
Yeah. Yeah.
rapid deployment is only for embedded option.
Embedded. Yeah.
This is your assumption. It's not a statement by SAP. I'll explain this in tomorrow's class.
Okay.
Consume,
And
consume the
second one, I'm
correct
just.
information from internet. Don't consume incorrect information from the internet. On internet, you will find a lot of correct, a lot of incorrect information. Especially companies like SAP Yard, they are actually degrading the quality and they are actually digressing the path of consultants, and this is why you see they are now down. See, bad
Mhm.
quality.
Yes. But
So
it's
don't,
not referred from SAP Yard. Ideally, it's one of the SAP blog.
we
Maybe.
will
Yeah. Let's
we
see.
will clarify it.
The second one, Anubhav, a quick, yeah, a quick, yeah, yeah, a quick one. Uh, is a fresh system. If it is like an upgrade, then already activated Fury apps, will it be deactivated by default, or we have to explicitly deactivate and then do a repeat?
So usually what happens, we need to re-update the application index. What is application index? Maybe I will cover this topic in coming classes. What is the impact of upgrade on Fiori? So let's wait for coming classes and then we will discuss about it. So rapid deployment is also applicable for upgrades. So after upgrade, you can also do rapid deployment one more time. It will not cause any effect. It is actually good process to follow after upgrade. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your questions.
Yeah, as you said that activating service each by each app, it will take you some and it cost more costly, right?
Yes.
When you implement apps and rapid deployment, when you move the changes by default, most of the services inactive. Again, I have seen that one, and we need to activate it. Will be take time, right? Each by each service.
So these are all the disadvantage I discussed today. Tomorrow I'll show you solution of all of them in one shot.
Yeah, when you move to another environment, it does most of the service again deactive. That's the issue now. Okay, thank you.
Yes, we'll talk about it tomorrow. You will understand how to solve them. Okay. All right, guys. See you tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day. Good